The Secret of the Wishing Tree, A Journey of Courage and Kindness. Chapter 1. The Whispering Leaves. In the quiet village of Elmsworth, there was an ancient oak tree that stood at the heart of the town square. It was called the Wishing Tree, a name passed down through generations. The villagers believed that if you whispered a wish into the tree's hollow, it would come true, but only for those whose hearts were pure. No one knew if the legend was true, but every child in Elmsworth had tried it at least once, just in case. Except for Oliver. Oliver wasn't like other kids. He didn't believe in fairy tales or magic. To him, the wishing tree was just an old tree with too many stories wrapped around its roots. But one autumn evening, as the wind rustled through its golden leaves, Oliver heard something strange. A whisper. Not the kind carried by the wind. A real voice. It was coming from inside the tree. Curious, Oliver pressed his ear to the rough bark. The whisper was faint, like a secret barely spoken. Help me remember. Oliver took a step back. Was someone inside? Or was he imagining things? He wasn't sure. But deep inside, something told him this was just the beginning. Chapter 2. A Forgotten Wish. That night, Oliver couldn't sleep. The words from the tree echoed in his mind. The next morning, he returned to the wishing tree with his best friend, Mia. She was the opposite of Oliver, always dreaming, always believing in the impossible. A talking tree, she gasped. This is amazing. Oliver rolled his eyes. Or I was just tired and hearing things. Mia ignored him and pressed her ear to the trunk. A second later, she jumped back. I heard it. It said, help me remember. Oliver's doubt melted into curiosity. What does it need to remember? Mia thought for a moment. Maybe a wish? It was a ridiculous idea. Wishes weren't real. But before Oliver could argue, Mia whispered into the hollow of the tree. If you need help, tell us how. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, a golden leaf fluttered down from the highest branch, landing at Oliver's feet. Etched into its surface were words that glowed like fireflies in the dusk, find the lost wish. Oliver's heart raced. A real mystery. And for the first time in his life, he felt something he hadn't before, wonder. Chapter 3. The Trail of Wishes. Following the only clue they had, Oliver and Mia set off on their adventure. The first stop was Mr. Finnegan's Bakery, the oldest shop in Elmsworth. The baker was always kind, but seemed to carry a sadness in his eyes. Mr. Finnegan, did you ever make a wish on the wishing tree? Mia asked. The baker hesitated, then chuckled. Ah, childhood dreams. I did, once. A long time ago. What did you wish for? Oliver asked. Mr. Finnegan wiped his flour-covered hands. To become a famous chef. To travel the world, cooking for kings and queens. He smiled wistfully. But dreams change, and life takes you elsewhere. Oliver and Mia exchanged glances. Did the tree ever grant it? Oliver asked. The baker sighed. I suppose I never gave it a chance. I stopped believing before it could. As they left the bakery, Oliver felt a strange weight in his chest. What if wishes only faded when people stopped believing in them? Then, another golden leaf drifted down from nowhere. This time, it read, The Weaver's Wish. The mystery deepened. Chapter 4. The Forgotten Dream. The clue led them to Mrs. Hazel, the village weaver. She had been around since before Oliver was born. When they asked about her wish, she chuckled softly. Oh, my dear children. I wish to weave the finest tapestry in the world. One that would be remembered for centuries. Mia gasped. Did you ever make it? Mrs. Hazel smiled sadly. I started. But life got busy. I had a family, responsibilities. One day, I packed it away, thinking I'd finish it later. Oliver's eyes darted to the dusty wooden chest in the corner of her shop. What if the tree never forgot your wish? Oliver asked. Mrs. Hazel's expression changed. Hope. A feeling she hadn't worn in years. With shaking hands, she opened the chest. Inside was an unfinished tapestry, its colors as vibrant as the day it was woven. For a long moment, she just stared. Then, without a word, she picked up her needle. As the first stitch was placed, another golden leaf floated down. The last wish. The final clue. Chapter 5. The heart of the tree. The last clue led Oliver and Mia back to the wishing tree. What if the tree is waiting for one last wish? Mia whispered. Oliver hesitated. But whose? A sudden gust of wind rushed through the branches, and the tree's hollow glowed. Inside, faint and almost invisible, were the carved words of a wish from long ago. I wish to remember why I was planted. Mia's breath hitched. The tree made a wish for itself? Oliver felt his heart race. But who would grant a tree's wish? Silence. Then, the answer became clear. Them. Taking a deep breath, Oliver placed his hand on the tree's trunk. I wish for you to remember. The golden leaves ignited in light, swirling like 1,000 tiny stars. The wind carried laughter, memories, echoes of the past. And then, the tree whispered. Thank you. And just like that, the wishing tree bloomed again, its golden leaves shining brighter than ever before. Chapter 6. The true meaning of wishes. The next morning, something strange happened. The bakery was busier than ever, with travelers coming to taste Mr. Finnegan's legendary pastries. Mrs. Hazel had finally finished her masterpiece, displaying it proudly for the world to see. And Oliver? For the first time, he made a wish of his own. Not for magic. Not for proof. But for everyone in Elmsworth to never forget how to dream again. As he whispered into the hollow of the wishing tree, a single golden leaf drifted into his hands. On it, 3 simple words glowed softly. Wish granted. Glowing star. Moral of the story: wishes don't fade, people just forget to believe. Deciduous tree. Dream boldly. Believe fiercely. And never stop wishing.